don't know what is wrong. Welcome. Y'all, I'm trying to fix Instagram.
We give you blessing, glory, and power.
Welcome, y'all. Get in here.
Before you, adore you, oh Lord. There is none like you. We love and adore you.
I'm doing this right. Okay. Hey, y'all. Hey. Get in here. Get in here. Hey. I was listening to some worship before we started. Y'all get in here. Welcome. Y'all get in here. So excited. I'm listening to some old school worship. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm a church girl. So this is Fred Hammond and Radical for Christ. Remember Worship in the House? Y'all remember them? Yeah. Girl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What up? Hey, what's going on, IG? Y'all in the house tonight. Hey, DeShandra. Y'all get in here. We're going to be starting in 2 minutes. In London town. Y'all get in here. We are starting in 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to grab a snack, grab a friend, and come back here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to move this over. So I can move this over so I can stop bumping it. Hey.
Hey sister, it's really nice to meet ya. I just met this 5'7" guy who's just my type.
Y'all get in here. We got so much to discuss tonight. Y'all get in here. We're going to be starting in 2 minutes. 8:36, we're going to be starting. So y'all, get in here. Hey.
I'll show you to my brethren. I'm liking this American boy. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see.
Y'all get in this group, get in here. So happy to see y'all.
You'll be my American boy.
La, 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 What's up, y'all? What's up? How y'all doing? Get in here. 1 more minute and we are starting. DeShandra, what's going on, girl? I'm planning our next meetup. It's gonna be next weekend. Hey. Y'all get in here as I take a little sip. Hey. I really want to come kick it with you.
Welcome, boy. Tell them walk, black.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to Dating in Dallas. I am your host, Andy Shannon. Dating in Dallas is a show that I developed at the request of my friends and my followers, where I would chronicle my experiences dating in the Dallas Metroplex. Moreover, I cover everything life, love, and relationships from a Christian woman's perspective, period. Y'all, we more lit than a little bit tonight. We got a lot to get into. But before we do, I just want to highlight. Remember how I told you guys that I'm going to be highlighting. Let me show y'all can hear me. That I'm going to be highlighting and visiting different Black-owned businesses, right? Specifically restaurants, because I know we like to eat. Right? So I think I may make this particular place our next meetup spot. So the name of the restaurant is Southern Eats. So this, the address for this particular restaurant is 6407 South Cooper Street in Arlington. 6407 South Cooper Street in Arlington. Okay. It is good Southern home cooking, but in an upscale atmosphere. So it's seated table service. You know, they recommend you make reservations. The menu looks amazing. It's reasonably priced. So you want to check out Southern Eats. Again, the address is 6407 South Cooper Street, Arlington, Texas. So that's a good spot to go for a date. Y'all already know. I'm giving y'all cheat codes, different places to go in Dallas to go out on a little date, getting to know you, a little something. You have a little pork chop, some greens, something like that, and just check it out, see what's going on. Okay, so that's Southern Eats in Dallas, 6407 South Cooper Street. All right, and I will post them in the thank you for watching video. I'll post their information in the ad for that. All right, okay. All right, the other thing is that I need you guys' help. I need your input. Hey, I need your input. So I'm working on a grant project for work. I'm very excited about it. It is called PrEP, which is Personal Responsibility Education Program. And it is a sexual health abstinence program for Native American youth. I work for a Native American health agency, and we are working on this grant, and I'm going to be running this particular program, y'all. Your girl, God is just doing some things. He's doing a lot of things. And so for this particular grant, I have come up with the idea to do group coaching, individual sessions with the youth, to do trips, to do, of course, and we have a curriculum about personal responsibility, abstinence, celibacy, all those wonderful things. But the one thing that the program or the curriculum does not have is parental engagement. And I think that is so important for youth, especially when we're talking about issues of sexual health. I remember when I was in school, sex education class, when it came to, health class, I remember that. When it came time to talk about sex ed, we had to get a waiver signed by our parents saying that it was okay for the school to teach us about the birds and the bees, right? Because a lot of families' parents would rather they talk to their children about sex. And I think that is an amazing thing. So I wanted to add parental engagement. So when you guys do me a favor, in my DMs, if you're on IG, if you're Facebook, in my inbox, I want you guys, if you are a parent of a youth, of a child, age 11 up to 19, please give me your input as to what would be an ideal parental engagement piece for a program like that. Like, what ideas do you guys have? Is it, to have a support group? Is it to have workshops for parents about how to have the talk with your kids? What would that look like? An ideal, parent engagement piece for a program. Do me a favor and give me your ideas in my inbox and my DM. All right. Yo, what up, Caleb Ray? So yes. All right. Do me that favor. And you guys remember that Hangouts with Thee, our first one, we had way too much fun. Okay. We was more lit than a little bit. We were at the Arlington Improv. We got to see the very funny Nate Jackson. He was hilarious. We had a good turnout. We took pictures with him. We had so much fun. We didn't want to go home, right? But we had to. But it was so much fun. So much fun. So the next hangout is going to be next weekend. I will post where we're going. And if you are in the DFW area, I want to connect with you guys. I want to connect and just hang out, have lunch, talk, bug out. Just have fun. So we're gonna be hanging out this summer. I told y'all we're gonna be hanging out. Yeah, see, Dee Dee, Deshandra, she did not want to go home. And I finally got my sis out the house. Okay. First, it was wonderful just kind of hanging out with her. But I finally got out the house, y'all. I got out the house. So if y'all want to get out the house and you're in the DFW area, you want to come to Hangouts with Thee, I will be posting where we're going next week. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be more lit than a little bit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, y'all listen. I have another Dear Thee submission. We have another What Would You Do? Okay. This one is going on. Ange, how you doing? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. So what we are talking about tonight, somebody wrote in and they need our help. They need our assistance. They need our input, our positive reinforcement and feedback, constructive criticism as to what they should do with their relationship. Okay. Now, so the situation goes like this. It is the woman who reached out to me and she was like, Thee, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a loss for words because I just am not familiar with this sort of situation, right? So here's the situation. She meets this guy. He is 2 years older than her. I don't know why she made it a point to say that, because the way she told the story really didn't matter, but I'm telling you, he's 2 years older than her. He has two daughters, one biological, one adopted. And he lives in upstate New York. Now, she said that they met online. She really liked him. He has like that New York swag. He's got that talk. Y'all know I'm from the East Coast, so y'all already know how I feel about, East Coast, that vibe, that swag, that accent, just the demeanor is just different. So they met online. They have been spending time together. It's the same thing. In the beginning, it's all rainbows and unicorns and just love and just amazing. And they're having wonderful conversations and he's being consistent, even though he works like the graveyard shift overnight. He is really making an effort to be consistent with communication with her. So he makes sure that before he goes to work, he talks with her. And when he gets off, before he goes home and takes a shower and knocks out for the day, that he talks to her, right? So they had made plans to hang out, the whole thing. Now, that part in the relationship, in the situationship, in the talking ship, whatever ship that they're in, there comes a time where you have conversations about deep stuff, right? You talk about like your past relationships. You talk about your past marriages or not marriages. You talk about children. You talk about all those wonderful things. So she says she realized that, they have been talking for about a month and a half. Things are going good, but they haven't talked about anything too in-depth about their past. So when she brought it up to him, he says, okay, I don't have anything to hide. What would you like to know? And so she was like, well, just give me something, about your past. So she said, I'll start. So she told him, that she was the victim of sexual abuse when she was younger, that she was physically abused from a former relationship. She's gone through some trauma, some traumatic stuff. And she appreciated that he was very present. He was empathetic. He was all the things, right? He was very good. So he says, okay. He says, well, I live in upstate New York. The reason why I live in upstate New York is because I've done some jail time. And when I got out, I just found a job and just settled up there and made my life up here. So she asks him, so what were you in jail for? And he says, be careful what you ask for because you may not like the answer. So immediately red flags up all around, just red flags, right? She's just like, what is he going to say to me? What is it? So he prefaced the rest of his story with this. He says, I want you to know I was in jail, but it was not for anything having to do with child abuse, any sexual abuse, no rape, nothing like that. He said that he originally had a 43-year sentence because he was a part of a motorcycle gang in the Brooklyn area. And he, as a part of, gangs, there's usually drugs and guns and sex and stuff like that involved. And so she asked him, so she was like, so how involved were you? Like, were you just like a corner boy selling weed? Like, what were you? He said, no. He said, I was like distro. So if y'all have watched Power, right, there's the corner boys who just, they get weed from distro. They, sell it. They bring the money back and they get their cut. He was the distributor. Okay. So he received the product. He distributed out to several corner boys. Like he was the man. He was up there in the gang. He was up there in the drug part of it. There was some prostitution rings that he ran. And because he had business in different boroughs, when he got caught, he basically caught a sentence from each borough. So I think it was like Brooklyn, I want to say Manhattan, and I think Queens. And all of those sentences equal to 43 years. So he said I had a 43-year sentence. And he also, it was for drugs and for a hate crime. Because one of his, I guess, corner boys owed him some money. He went to go collect it. They didn't have it. So he beat the person up. Then when he went back to the person's house, there was somebody else there. They were, I guess, coming after him. So he goes, pulls the dude in the apartment, beats that dude up. Come to find out, that person was an undercover cop. Yeah. So not only does he have drugs and like a sex ring, but he also had a hate crime under his belt because it was an officer. Whew. Did y'all get all that? Y'all get all that? I got it. So he said that he started doing his time, and he did 12 years. And he said then he got out for good behavior. Then he kind of recanted and said he was able to get out if he was, I guess they kept the investigation open to get the rest of the people. So I think that he basically gave up information to get other people arrested, right? And so basically he ratted them out. And so he was able to get out early. Now, he said he did 12 years. He was able to get out. He found a job. He's part of a union. He makes almost 6 figures a year. Y'all knew blue collar jobs that are union represented, they make a lot of money. Like your sanitation workers, like blue collar jobs make a lot of money, especially if there's a union. So he's making good money. He takes care of his children. He, because of his jail time, he wasn't able to get a loan to own a home. But he lives in a very nice, townhouse, upstate New York, drives a nice car, gainfully employed. Like he's done well for himself. He's turned his life around. And he's now on, not probation, parole. He's on parole, and he finishes that up in 5 months. And he says, hey, when I'm done with my parole, I want to spend more time with you because, because of his parole that he had to be, he has to be in at a certain time. There's really not many places he can go. So their dating life has been very limited. But he's like, I really like you. I feel like you like me. I think we need to see where this is going to go. We need to make this happen. What we got to do, when I'm done with my parole, I want us to go away. And he's just like, everything's on me. I'll fly you out. We're going to go anywhere you want to go, anywhere you want to go. But I just want to spend time with you and just us. So now all of this has happened. She's been talking to him for a month and a half, almost 2 months, right? They are at the part where, in the relationship where it's almost like, they're discussing heavy things that have gone on in their lives. He was very honest with his past, the jail time that he's done, the offenses that he's committed, all of the things. And he is just like, when this is done, I want to be with you. I want to make this work. She wants to know, what should she do? Because she really likes this guy. He was very honest with her. She says that he has not shown any. Oh, the other thing is that he has a history of substance abuse. So, they always say, like, if you're selling, you're not supposed to use, don't get high on your own supply. Well, he kind of did that. So he has a history of using cocaine, of using like Xanax, other things like weed, that kind of thing. He's clean, he has to have random drug screens, all that kind of stuff. So she wants to know, what should she do? Should she continue on in the relationship, continue to getting to know him, or kind of cut her losses and say, hey, we're good as friends. It's just a lot that you have going on, and I don't want to be a part of it. Right? So she's trying to figure out, what should she do? Should she cut her losses before her heart gets any more involved than what it is? Or should she, just go ahead and just see where it goes? Let's get your comments. I need to see what y'all got to say. All right. So Kristen, hey, Kristen already is in it. And she said, nah, I'm tapping out. She said, no, I'm good. I'm tapping out. And she said, he's a snitch too. So, he did some time. And he, the reason why he got his sentence shortened is because, he gave up some people. Okay. And she also said, where is Jesus in his life now? So, he didn't say, well, she didn't say that they had the conversation about faith. If he knows Jesus or not, they hadn't had that conversation. She did mention to him that she is a woman of faith, but she didn't say whether he said, this is who I am as well. So we don't know that part of his life, Kristen. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. So here's my thing. And this is what I told her. I said this. I said, I understand your dilemma. And I understand, the red flags that are popping up for you. To me, it's like nothing. It's almost like your actions will speak louder than your words at this point. And he has been very honest with you about his life, his past, what he's been through. And so I said, be on the lookout and be honest. And even, I don't know if he's even said anything to you, or if he showed you, does he give you any indication that he is still using, or like that he has the capacity to use substances? Like, so right now he's on parole. So he gets random drug screens. Like, they can call him and say, hey, you need to come and pee in a cup today. Right? So right now he has to be clean in order to fulfill his parole. So I said, but that doesn't mean that you won't see signs that there is addiction still there. I said, in terms of like medications or anything like that, does he show any signs like that he's using any kind of substances? or that he has like an addictive personality. Because even though he may not be using substances, their behavior plays out in other ways, you know? Does he have is he showing any kind of behavior that'll say he'll go back to his old life of selling and being back in the gang? So he said that he was in the gang. He said that he is out now. And she said, as far as I know, he's not going back. So I said, well, when you talk to him, kind of feel him out and see how he feels about it. Because if it's like, yeah, I was in the gang or whatever, I miss it. I miss my homies. I miss whatever the case may be. If his attention is still there, chances are that he's going to find a way to get what he wants. He's going to find a way to get back to that. Because to me, I look at things kind of scientifically. You'll notice I study human behavior, right? So going back to homeostasis. Homeostasis is like going back to home base, right? So humans, we always want to return back to the place where we started. So does he want to do that? Is he saying like, I miss this, I miss that? What should, I miss the homies, I miss the money, that kind of thing, because that'll show you like, okay, when he's done with his parole, he gonna link back up with the whoever and get back into that life, right? Let me get some comments because y'all are out here. Love wins peace. Welcome and thank you. In time, all things will be revealed. I wouldn't date him exclusively, but I would keep him around to see where it goes. Thank you. Wonder Woman says, but how would she really know if she's not really physically in his presence? That's a good point too. So Wonder Woman, are you saying that she needs to spend more time with him to see? Because they have conversations, they video chat. She goes to, like they can go do coffee, that kind of thing. They haven't been spent any kind of time, like a lot of significant time, like maybe spend the day together or anything like that, Okay. Let's get to Facebook, get some comments from Facebook. That should have been the first conversation. Very good, Krista. And that was my thing too. Like to me, if you've done 12 years, right? And in the beginning, to me, that's like, you should have led with that. Like, hey, I really like you, but I need you to know this is what has been going on with me. Like, lead with that. Like, first date, first interaction. So there's no surprises. Like, I appreciate his candor. I appreciate him being very open and transparent. But at the same time, now she's already a month and a half, like 2 months in. And then he brings up the past. And he said it. He said the reason why I waited was because, a lot of times women have written me off because of my jail time. Even though, I've paid my debt to society, I've done what I needed to do. I'm working, like I'm turning my life around. But when I tell them that piece, they're like, nah, I'm good. Oh my goodness. So Kristen also says, what about the people coming after him for snitching? Well, here's to me, I don't know. And that's another thing to consider, because if he snitched on people to get a shorter sentence, right? I'm pretty sure they're going to put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, this the dude that ratted us out. Now, they may not be able to do anything because they're in jail, but not everybody's in jail. Somebody's out on the street and they can get somebody to get him. And what if they're out on a date or out somewhere and somebody decides to roll up and just let off a couple of rounds? So there's a whole issue of safety that she has to consider and worry about. Not just, is he, going to abuse substances or, get back into selling again, but are people after him? Very, very deep. Very, very deep. Mel Bell, hey Mel, she said, why was he in the game? If that hasn't changed, he will be back. Very good point. She said, why was he in the game in the first place? Like, why did he do it? And so, she did say that he told her he was in the motorcycle gang. I didn't even know Brooklyn had motorcycle gangs. Like, I did not. Like, I knew there's like, like Rough Riders, like what DMX was in, but I didn't know there was like gangs, like motorcycle gangs. You usually hear about that like down south with like Harleys and, like Anarchy and Sons of Anarchy, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. But anyway, he got into the gang because his father was in the same gang and he was pretty much up there. So that's all he knew. He knew that life, if that gives any kind of perspective. He knew that life. Love Wins Peace says, also, while incarcerated, they have nothing but time. So I hope he's not just saying all this just to have companionship while he's in there. Love after lockup. So no, honey, he's out on parole. He's out. His parole finishes up, she says, in 5 months. So he's not, he's out of jail. So maybe he's just saying all this. I don't know. But yeah, he's not in jail anymore. He's out on parole. Krista said, I couldn't do it. I'm too old for that many what ifs. Let me tell you something. And she's in her 30s. This girl, I think she's 35. So he's 37. No, she's 40. She's 40. He's 42. Sorry. Different person. But after like 30 something, it's a lot of stuff that you just like, I ain't got time for. Y'all know we've talked about this before. A lot of stuff, and not just exclusive to women, men too. It's just like a lot of stuff I need you to have already. Like I'm willing to grow with somebody and build, but there are just some things that I need you to have. Like, and all these what ifs, like Kristen said, I couldn't do it. Too many. I'm too old for that many what ifs. What if this? What if that? What if, if you have to constantly walk in fear, looking over your shoulder, is this person gonna, like what's gonna happen? Or even in the relationship. And that's the other thing I told her too. I said, think about in the relationship, how is it gonna be? Because right now you're interacting with on parole. We'll call him Keith. You're interacting and you're getting to know parole Keith. Who is Keith post parole? Like what is he like after that? What's he going to be like after that? So her question is, do I hang on and see? Or do I just cut my losses and call it a day? Loved Ones Peace. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Brian. Welcome. So yeah, Amber, honey, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I feel sorry for her because, she says she doesn't feel like she was blindsided because it's still very early on. But to me, a month and a half is a significant amount of time that you've been talking with this person. Because it's not like, they talked once every couple of days. It was they talk every day, and he's been consistent with, his communication. So she says he works the graveyard shift. So before he goes to work, he calls her, they video chat or they talk while he's getting ready for work as he's driving there. And then when he gets off, she says sometimes he'll call her on his break if she's still up. And then also when he gets off, he usually gets off at about 8 a.m. And he'll call her, just to say, hey, good morning, have a good day. He's, so they're like ships passing in the night during the week. And then when they do get together, it's usually like, of course, during the daytime because he has a curfew. And it's usually like something like coffee shop or walk in the park or, lunch, something like that. Something where it's like 2-3 hours because he has to check in, I guess, with his parole officer daily. So it's a lot of moving parts. I didn't even think about that. Y'all are really opening the perspective with this. Sis. Oh, pobrecito. I told her I feel for her. Because to me, a month and a half is a long time to talk to somebody and then they spring on you, hey, I beat a 43-year sentence. I've done jail time. I used to be in a motorcycle gang. I used to be distro. I used to, run hoes. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot after a month and a half. Like, you need to lead with that kind of information. So to me, I told her, I said, you have to make the best decision for you. You're a woman of faith. So you need to pray about it. Pray, but also watch and pray. And ask him, one, where his spiritual life is. Does he know Jesus? Because y'all already know how the kid feels about that. Like, I am not going to down somebody if they date somebody who's not saved and they're saved, because I've done it. It is not for Theany. It's not. I can't do it anymore. I can't. After the last person that lied to me for a straight couple of months saying that he was saved and he really was, like, it was a mess. I ain't gonna get into it. But that's what happened. So that was my first bit of information, or first bit of advice for her. You need to find out where he is spiritually. And you need to pray about it and ask him, like, where he is in the whole process. And honestly, there are some things you're just not going to know unless you're in that process of dating, unless you're in that thing. And this is something that I want to bring up to you guys. And I've said this before on past episodes, but I really want to drive this home. Because there's this false and unhealthy expectation, right? We always say that you need to get healed before you enter into another relationship. You need to be healed before you go into any kind of relationship, right? And that is very much true, because we all know, and I always liken it to like travel in a plane. Your relationship that you are in comes with its own set of luggage, its own set of baggage. So before you get off the plane and go to your next destination, you need to go to baggage claim your luggage, open it up, see what's in there, deal with the stuff, throw out stuff that you don't need, heal before you get on the plane to your next destination. Here's the catch. There are some things that you are just not going to learn or get healed from beforehand. There are some things that you're going to have to learn and go through in the dating process. One thing that I will say is trust. If you have ever been cheated on, right? If you have, just give a hand raise emoji. Okay. I put 2 hands up because I was cheated on twice when I was married. And it's a hard thing to be cheated on. Cheating is the worst thing ever because it causes you internalize something that somebody else did. It was their deficit. It was their mistake, their lack of judgment, lack of discipline, but you internalize it because it makes you look at yourself. It chips at your self-esteem. You're like, why did he cheat on me? What was I not doing? You go through all the things. No judgment if you guys have, because I've been there, right? So, but one thing cheating does, it chips at your trust. You trusting that person. So you heal, you go through, the healing process, whatever, depending on how long the situation is. I would even recommend going to see somebody, because there are a lot of emotions and feelings and things that you don't know how to process by yourself, and you need to bounce some of this stuff off of somebody. All right. But learning to trust again does not come by itself. That thing has to be tested. And I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. That thing has to be tested. And so how it's tested is in the dating space, in the dating relationship, right? You getting to know somebody and them being trustworthy, like them being accountable for where they are and what they're doing. Hey, Book. Them being honest with you about who they're talking to. Them being just honest about where they're going and who they're with and that kind of thing. that trust is built and it's learned in vivo, like in real life, in real time, you working through that thing. So don't, I just think that a lot of times what happens now in like mainstream society, we have these unhealthy expectations that you have to be perfectly healed, whole before you go and be in a relationship. And while that is true, it's true to an extent, because I know this, that God uses people. And God, and I've seen it happen and I've experienced it, where God has used situations and have used relationships to heal the brokenness in a person. And that is just the God's honest truth. Like he has, I've seen it to where when, especially when it comes to trust, where a person was cheated on, like even worse than what this girl endured. She way better than me, because I'd have been in jail. Y'all, it would have been dating in Dallas from Sing Sing. I ain't gonna hold you. Okay. Now, she endured a lot of infidelity, just a lot of emotional abuse and all that. So she took the time. She did her work. She, took the time to heal. She didn't get into a relationship after everything. And then when she started dating, she met this amazing guy. And she had to go through the bumps and bruises of relationships because she was triggered a lot. She was triggered. Anytime he did something or said something that reminded her of past situations where she was cheated on, that triggered her. And so the one thing that I told her that she had to do was I told her, you have to communicate. You have to tell him, this is a trigger for me. Like when you don't answer me for 5-6 hours, that's a trigger for me, because in this past relationship, that's what would happen when he was with his hoes. Like, be honest. And it doesn't make you an angry Black woman. It doesn't make you bitter. It makes you wise. And it makes you courageous to be able to let your guard down and be vulnerable to an extent to where you can say, this bothers me. This upsets me, because this is what happened to me before. And it's not making him pay for what somebody else did. It's letting him know, this is a trigger for me and I'm working through it. So that way he knows, okay, now I know, like, my bad. I'll just be more responsive to you. It is a give and take. But there are some things that you are just not going to be healed from and learn by yourself. Sometimes it happens in vivo. It happens in the dating process, in that dating space. So I just wanted to put that out there to you guys. And also, I feel like I'm saying this, that God is having me say this for a reason, that there are some of you who are watching or who will watch on the replay who have these unhealthy expectations of the other person, but you have unhealthy expectations of yourself. That you are, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. That you are expecting the other person to know what bothers you. You're expecting the other person to almost be a mind reader. And I need to release you from that right now in Jesus' name. That you have to understand that you have to talk, that you have to communicate. God gave you a mouth for a reason, right? And so in as much as he needs you to be healed and to be whole, you also need to be easy and not be so hard on not just yourself, but the other person that you're in a relationship with. Because unhealthy expectations, they're unhealthy because they're almost impossible to attain. And so when the person does not meet that expectation, then you look at them in a bad light, when it's not necessarily bad. It's just, it was an impossible standard that you were holding me to, right? And so, and I can say this because I'm a woman, but women, we're kind of famous for this. We kind of expect men to read our minds, even when we've been in a relationship with them or married to them for 25, 35 years. But here's the thing. We are humans, imperfect, right? We are imperfect. And the other thing about us being human is that we grow and we change. And your husband, your boyfriend, he is growing and he's changing. You're growing and you're changing. So what you liked 5 years ago may not be what you like now. So you can't expect for him to read your mind and to know that you like tacos or that you don't like tacos anymore. You can't expect him to know that because you've changed. And don't you think that you've changed, that he's changed as well? Yeah. We have to give grace where grace is needed. We have to give that level of grace. And I always say this, you need to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them the chance to rise to the occasion or to drop the ball. But at least give them that chance to do that. Don't just write them off, especially if you've been in a relationship for a while. And I've learned that from being married. Like, because there were times where I had to give grace and allow him space to mess up and to, to make mistakes and to, just completely mess up. And he had to give me the grace to do that as well. But here's the problem: when there kept being the mess ups and there was no change, then that grace ran out. And it was like, no, you go to God for grace. I don't got no more. So, yeah. Bookie says, sounds like me. Wonder Woman says, yes, I was very guilty of this. I cut people off, no explanation. Yes. And I think that's where a lot of the other side of ghosting comes in. Like, the person can make a mistake and it's like, all right, I'm done. Like, you done messed up. That's it. You don't get a chance to mess up again. You're done. Right? And that's unfair because we're human. And the problem is that you would want, if you made a mistake, you would want grace to kind of correct your mistake and to do it over. So in as much as God, there's a scripture that says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man has a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. So just like God forgave you for your mess up, and not just mess up singular, but mess ups, continual, okay? Continual mess ups. He's forgiven them, right? Even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. The fact that God has forgiven you for all the stuff that you've done, I think you can give grace to Fuquan because he ain't remember that you don't like tacos. I think that you can give him some grace for that. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. So final consensus. What should my sis do? Should she further get to know Keith? Was he Keith? He was Keith. Should she get to know Keith? See where it goes? See what Keith is like after parole, like when he's done? Or should she say, hey, we just need to be friends. I appreciate the level that we are right now, and this is where it's going to stay. What should she do? I need your final consensus because she's going to be watching this. She's going to watch this on the replay. So I need y'all to give my sis some good feedback because we've given our opinions, but I need y'all to give the final verdict. What should she do? Okay? Put it in the comments. Let me know. And while y'all are doing that, I want to give a plug. Again, please remember that Hangouts with Thee is coming, right? Like I said, we're going to be out this summer. If you missed the first Hangouts with Thee, you don't want to miss the next one because we had way too much fun. We had a lot of fun. Honey, we were at the Arlington Improv, cracking up, eating chicken wings. We took pictures with the comedian, Nate Jackson. It's hilariously funny. Such a good dude. He DM'd me, gave me the link for free tickets, and I just gave it out to everybody. And we just went and had a good time. Y'all saw the pictures. And we was cute. Okay. We was cute. So the idea is to do that again. And we're going to do it throughout the summer. So I'm going to be picking a Black-owned restaurant or just hangout spot. And we're going to go hang out, take pictures, have fun, talk, connect, because that's what I want to do with you guys. I want to connect with all, I hate to call y'all followers. I want to connect with my friends, with my social media friends. I would never call you guys followers. I just think that's so weird. Um, I want to connect with y'all. I had a chance to connect with some of you guys for the first hangout, and it was so much fun. One person, they turned her away because the club had a 2 drink minimum, which was ridiculous to me. So she didn't stay, but she brought her cousin. I got a chance to hug her neck and squeeze her. Yeah, so you don't want to miss the next meetup. Okay. Kristen, final consensus, says, I would stay friends, but be open to other things. If he's the one, God would let her know without a doubt. You hear that, sis? Be open. Keep it friends right now, but be open and see what God does, because you never know. You never know. Okay. Love Wins Peace says, in my Coming to America voice, go on, honey, take a chance. Y'all remember that? We're Coming to America on the train. Go on, honey, take a chance. Remember the little old lady? Y'all, love wins peace. Love wins peace. Are you in I can't remember. Is this Jackie? I'm trying to figure out who this is. I think it's Jackie. Oh my goodness. What up, y'all? Speaking of past, my sister-in-law, technically she's my ex-sister-in-law because I'm no longer married to her brother. In-law. But anyway, Jackie. But my sister-in-law is watching. And this is so funny, y'all. This is when you know that family and love is real, because they could have absolutely said, hey, you divorced. Like, we don't need to talk to y'all. But I have a really good relationship with my in-laws. There are some very dope people. And I love the kids. I consider them my nieces and nephews, and I send them presents periodically, and it's a wonderful thing. So when you're an adult, you do adult things. It doesn't always necessarily have to be ugly and contentious, right? And even though I do not speak to my ex-husband, I do have somewhat of a good relationship with the family, and it's just dope. And that's just what adults do. I mean, nobody got time to be mad and to be nasty and all that other foolishness. Like, we off that. Period. Kristen said I couldn't do it though, but I'm older and stubborn. Kristen, first of all, you're not that old. You're not. Stop it. Y'all should see Kristen. First of all, she looks like she's 20 years old. Okay, so we're saying I love you too. So we are telling her just keep it friends, but be open. Okay, so that is the consensus from the Dating in Dallas crew. Sis, we love you. We're praying for you, pulling for you. We understand your situation. We feel for you, but please guard your heart. To me, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Okay, guard it. But just establish a friendship with him, but be open. Be open to the possibilities and pray. Okay? Okay. All right. I want to get into one more topic before we close out the show tonight. And here's what it is. I'm going to read a meme that I'm going to post in a couple of days. But to me, it was so good. I really wanted to talk about it tonight. So here's the meme. It says, stop letting men who don't want a life with you create a life inside of you. And this is from somebody named Coach Rose. I'm going to read it again. Stop letting men who don't want a life with you create a life inside of you. Now, y'all know how I feel about sex before marriage. Have I fallen and messed up? Absolutely. Okay? Because first of all, I'm cute. And sex does not hurt. It's not awful. It feels good. Right? So do not let men who do not want a life with you create a life inside of you. For that to happen, you have to know and honor who you are as a person. I'm finding that there are people, I can't even say women, because there are men that do it as well, who say, I hear what you're saying, I hear all of that, but I'm just out to get my needs met. Like, I have needs, I need to get my rocks off, I need to da 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 da. I understand that and I get that. When they say things like that, there is a level of truth to it, but there is also a level of insecurity. And I can tell you this from a woman's standpoint, that I've been in relationships where you really like the person, you having sex with them goes against who you are and your standards and your beliefs and your core values, right? But you give in because sex is natural. And they feed you the line of, it's a natural part of relationships. Don't you trust me? It's almost like being peer pressure when you were like in middle school, high school, like, I'm gonna go blind, that kind of dumb stuff. But it boils down to, how much do you value yourself? My body is a temple. Like, this is where God lives. And this is why I've been on a health kick. This is why I've been going to the doctors to find out what happened with my heart and all this other stuff. Nothing happened, y'all. I had what did I have? I had the procedure, a cardiac cath, to find out there was nothing. Everything's fine. But I've taken very seriously this being a temple. Like, God lives here. And I think we need to keep that in mind when we get into these situations, or put ourselves in these situations where we are opening ourselves up literally and figuratively to people. You're worth more than just the one night stand. You're worth more than just, him letting off a couple inside of you. You're worth more than you reaching your romantic peak and you got your needs met for that time. Trust me, I understand, and I know when you get that itch and you want somebody to scratch it. I get it, because I've been there and I've had somebody scratch that itch, okay? I don't want y'all to think that I haven't, because I have. But more than my desire to have my needs met, more than my desire to have sex, is my desire to please God and to honor myself and to honor this body, because I only got this. I don't have another body. Like, I don't have another one. You know what I mean? And so we need to keep that in mind when we are opening ourselves up to people just to come in there and just do whatever. Same thing for men. You give yourself to these women that aren't worthy of it, just because you want to get your needs met. Oh, she's cute. Oh, this is a part. Da, 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 da. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll say it, and I don't care. You can't beat me anyway. But sex is oftentimes used as a crutch in relationships. It's often said that sex brings people together. It is the highest form of intimacy, right? It's intimate. It brings people together. Sex is used as a crutch in a relationship, because when you can't communicate or won't communicate effectively, what do you do to communicate? Sex. Because you think about it, what do we have when we fighting? Right? When we done with the fight, what do we have? Makeup sex. When we pissed, when he done got drunk or whatever at the club, he been having strippers twerk on him, or da 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 da, and he done been drinking Hennessy. What do you have? Angry sex. When he got pissed at, when you got mad at the office and your coworkers pissed you off and da 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 da, angry. Sex is used as a crutch. It's used as a crutch instead of communicating. There are other ways to be intimate with somebody other than them being inside of you. And I have seen it. I saw a documentary. I think it was the Black Love doc on and there was about 3 or 4 couples that said that they introduced celibacy into the relationship. And the one couple said the reason why we did that was because we needed to see if we were compatible, if we could come together, if there was any substance to the relationship other than sex. Because it wasn't that the sex wasn't good, because it was great. But do we have anything other than that? And I'm going to tell you this. I was in a relationship with somebody for about 2 months. And we were having sex. I was having sex every weekend, right? And I noticed that we didn't have anything else in common other than that. Like, we were good chemistry wise in terms of in the bedroom, in the bed. But other than that, like, we didn't have anything in common. Our core values weren't the same. Like our family, what we felt about family and business and life, like it wasn't the same. We didn't talk about any major issues or anything. We would go out to eat and have fun together, right? And most of the time it was like, I picked the place, he just paid for it, and we went out and we came home, we had sex. Like it was just, that's all it was. It was just sex. We had nothing other than sex. Sex is used too much as a crutch. And if you want a deeper level of connection and relationship, remove sex from the table and see who that person is. Because I'm going to tell you this for myself, and I've always said this, and this is my heart's desire. I want to be known by the person that I'm with intrinsically. Like, I want them to know me, know my heart, know what I'm passionate about, know what I'm scared of, know me intrinsically. And that does not necessarily, that don't come just because you put your penis inside of me. It don't happen that way. Stop letting men who don't want to create a life with you create a life inside of you. Stop opening yourself up to be let down. Some women stay in relationships for years, right? And it's the whole why buy the cow when you get the milk for free. They go through all of that because they don't value at the base level of all of that. You don't value yourself, because if you did, you would require somebody to honor you and respect you enough to say, hey, I'm not going to continue this until you are my wife, make you my wife. So you can have sex with me for 5 and 6 years, but you can't marry me. Same thing with men. Stop dropping your penis off at different locations. Stop doing that. Because all you're doing is just tying yourself spiritually to that person. And all you're doing is creating confusion in the relationships. And I have a friend of mine, God bless him. He's in a relationship now, but he has this idea that, if I tell a woman that this is just sex, that it's fine, that I can just have sex with her or whatever. I'm like, no, because having sex with somebody is deeper than just the physical act. It's emotional, it's spiritual. And even though you told her like, hey, this ain't nothing, like this is just sex or whatever, that doesn't absolve you from the responsibility. So men, stop dropping your penis off to different places. And women, stop opening your legs. All you're doing is confusing yourself. And you look stupid. you look stupid in these streets. He's playing you. And then you get on social media and you post these pictures of you at the club, at the restaurant, at the this, at the that, and you lying to everybody, making it seem like you have this grand life and this grand dating life, and and you post stuff like, oh, I told him I wanted to go out and he took me out. He ain't take you nowhere. Ain't nobody there but you and your friend. Like, stop lying, as the youth say. Stop capping. As the children say, stop capping. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. And I say this too: if you ever want to see a false sense of confidence, right, and insecurity, check out Instagram, check out Facebook. People be lying on there all the time, like a lot. They be lying. Let me get some more comments. So Kristen said, that's not just a life inside of you as having a child or sex. It's creating a false hope of a life together in your heart. Hello. Because sex is not just the physical act. It's not. This is why men get so upset. Like, they can cheat, but if their woman cheats, they get upset. They can't handle it. Why? Because they know that it's emotional. There's a connection there. Angela Jones, hey girl, that emotional connection that is created can mean so much more than people realize. Hello. And it's just like you have put your emotions and your heart into something that's going nowhere, and you open yourself up. And on a practical scale, it's like, you run into STD scares and, pregnancy scares and trips to the clinic and shots and all that kind of foolishness. And it's just like, it's not worth it. It's not. I applaud any woman who is, any woman or any man who is in the walk of celibacy. One, because it requires discipline. And again, I'll be honest, there were times I did not have that discipline, and I went ahead and I fell. Okay, because again, I'm cute. Joaquita, Joaquita is cute. Okay, but after making those mistakes, I came to the realization that I my desire my desire to have sex is not greater than my desire to please God and to just live free. It's not. It's just not. So ladies, gentlemen, stop it. And that's that on that. Oh my goodness. If you guys have any more comments, please drop them in the comment section before we wrap it up. Here's another thing that let me tell y'all. This is so funny. So y'all know I'm like a baby sneakerhead. Y'all know I love sneakers, right? I just started getting into it. So people want to know, what does fuacata? What does fuacata mean, right? Fuakata, right? Fuacata. Fuacata is a sound, right? Latinos, right? We we put sound effects to everything. So fuacata is like when you light a match, or you light a lighter, or you light a flame, or you light a something. The flame, as it bursts, as it comes up, it's like fuacata. It's the heat. So to me, fuacata is like that fire. It's that heat. You know what I'm saying? So it's the sneakers that I wear. And fuacata has become a movement. Like, like one of my friends on Instagram is having a shirt that says fuacata made for me. And she has a friend that does t-shirts, and she's gonna be selling merch. So fuacata is a movement, y'all. Like, fuacata could be anything. It's the heat. It is the beauty of something. It's a movement. I had no idea. And this is just a sound effect that I just did, and it is now a thing. It's just crazy. So be on the lookout for fuacata. I am your host, Joaquita. Okay. I appreciate y'all so much. I love you guys. You guys have no idea how fulfilled I am doing Dating in Dallas. I love doing this show. I love interacting with you guys week after week. I hate when I have to take time off to do it, or if I'm not feeling well, or if I have to take a sabbatical, or if I don't have time. Like, I hate that, because I love connecting with you. I love you guys so much. Thank you to my Facebook family, to my thank you to my Facebook family, my YouTube family, and my Periscope family. Shout out to my Instagram family. Shout out to my family all the way in Modesto, California, my TV 26. What up? Thank you guys so much for tuning into Dating in Dallas. Join me next Tuesday and every Tuesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on Dating in Dallas. I love y'all. Bye.